I stared at the invitation in my trembling hands. My sister's wedding. The elegant cream card felt like sandpaper against my skin. "Mommy, are we really going?" Oliver asked, his innocent eyes looking up at me. "Yes, sweetie. Aunt Vanessa is getting married." My voice betrayed nothing of the dread churning in my stomach. I hadn't seen my family in almost a year, not since they dismissed my divorce as inevitable and called me just another single mom at last Christmas. The memory still burned. The mirror reflected a woman I barely recognized. I'd spent our grocery money on this dress, navy blue, modest, forgettable. Just how they preferred me. My phone buzzed with a text from my mother, "Don't be late. And please dress Oliver appropriately this time." I kissed my son's forehead and straightened his little tie. We couldn't afford new shoes for him, but I'd polished his old ones until they gleamed. "Remember what I told you?" I whispered. "Be extra good and quiet," he recited seriously. What neither of us knew was that in just a few hours, everything would change. The carefully maintained hierarchy of the Foster family was about to be shattered by the most unexpected person in the room. The grand entrance of Hamilton Plaza took my breath away, crystal chandeliers suspended from 30-foot ceilings and marble floors gleaming like mirrors. The scent of lilies and roses made my drugstore perfume feel embarrassingly inadequate. "Rachel Foster?" A tuxedoed usher approached. "And, child," he added, eyeing Oliver with disapproval. "Yes, that's us," I replied, pulling Oliver closer. "You're at table 19. He pointed to the farthest corner of the room, practically hidden behind a decorative pillar. My heart sank. As far from the main table, from my own family, as physically possible without putting us in the kitchen with the staff. The walk across that ballroom felt like a gauntlet. Guests in designer clothes turned to stare, whispering behind manicured hands. "Mommy, why is everyone looking at us?" Oliver whispered. "They're just admiring how handsome you look in your tie," I whispered back. Table 19 was exactly as I'd feared. While the front tables boasted elaborate centerpieces, ours had a simple arrangement and plain white cards. "Rachel Foster, read mine." Next to it, a card simply said "child" rather than Oliver's name. I swallowed hard. My mother hadn't even bothered to get my son's name printed. "Is this where we sit for the whole party?" Oliver asked, his little legs swinging. "Yes, sweetheart. This is our special spot." I spotted my parents near the entrance, my mother in a champagne-colored gown that probably cost more than my monthly rent, my father stiff in his tuxedo. When my mother's eyes found mine, there was no smile of recognition. She simply nodded once, then turned away to greet a couple with air kisses and exaggerated delight. "Rachel Foster?" A woman's voice, slightly slurred, broke through my thoughts. A woman in her mid-50s settled into the chair beside me, clutching a half-empty champagne flute. "Marjorie Winston," she announced. "I used to work with your father years ago. Got out of that Shark Tank, thank God. Now I edit books instead of legal briefs." She leaned closer. "Much more fulfilling, even if it doesn't pay for summer homes in the Hamptons." "And who's this handsome little gentleman?" Marjorie asked, smiling at Oliver. A tired-looking middle-aged man took the seat on my other side. He wore a simple gray suit that appeared slightly rumpled. "Pardon me," he said quietly, his voice carrying a gentle authority. "Is this table 19? "It sure is," Marjorie answered. "Welcome to the island of misfit toys." The man smiled faintly. "I suppose that makes me the Charlie in the box." He turned to me. "Garrett," he said simply. "Rachel. And this is my son, Oliver." Garrett's eyes crinkled when he smiled at my son. "Hello, Oliver. That's quite a handsome tie you have there." My son beamed. "Thank you. Mommy polished my shoes too, see?" He stuck out his foot to show off his worn but gleaming dress shoes. "Very impressive," Garrett nodded seriously. "A gentleman always takes care of his shoes." I felt a wave of gratitude toward this stranger who'd made my son feel special with just a few words. So, Marjorie leaned across the table. How are you related to the happy couple? I'm the bride's sister, I said quietly. Marjorie's eyebrows shot up. The sister? And they've got you all the way back here? That's cold, even by Eleanor Foster's standards. I felt my cheeks burn. It's fine. We're happy just to be part of Vanessa's special day. Mommy, is that Aunt Vanessa? Oliver pointed toward the entrance. The sight of her stole my breath. Vanessa was stunning, her wedding dress a masterpiece of lace and crystal. Yes, that's her, I whispered, a complicated mix of pride and envy twisting in my chest. She looks like a princess. Oliver exclaimed. She certainly does, I agreed. The perfect princess of the Foster family, while I had long ago been demoted from being the older sister she once looked up to. As if sensing our gaze, Vanessa turned. For a brief moment, our eyes met. Something flickered across her face, recognition, perhaps even guilt, before one of her bridesmaids whispered in her ear, and she turned away with a tinkling laugh. As I stood to get water, I caught sight of my mother directing guests like a military commander. When she spotted me, she quickly made her way over, her smile tightening with every step. Rachel, darling, she said, her voice honey-coated but her eyes cold. I see you found your table. Hello, Mother. Yes, we did. Grandma. Oliver reached out for a hug that my mother sidestepped with practiced grace. Hello, Oliver. My, haven't you grown? She patted his head as if he were a pet. Then, turning back to me, I trust you'll keep him quiet during the ceremony? Vanessa's spent a fortune on the videographer. The barb was subtle but sharp. Of course, I replied evenly. Oliver knows to be on his best behavior. Oliver nodded solemnly, his excitement dampened by my mother's frosty reception. She glanced dismissively at my table mates. We had to make some last-minute adjustments to accommodate Adrian's more important business associates. It's fine, Mother, I said, my practiced smile firmly in place. Oh, and Rachel? Your father and I are giving our speeches right after dinner. We'd appreciate it if you didn't. Well, you know how emotional you can get. This is Vanessa's day. Translation: don't embarrass us by existing too noticeably. I understand. With a final tight smile, she glided away, leaving behind a cloud of expensive perfume and disapproval. Well, Marjorie said while draining her champagne before adding, she's exactly as I remember. She flagged down a waiter. Another round over here, please. I think we're going to need it. Garrett cleared his throat softly. Families can be complicated. That's putting it mildly, I murmured. The string quartet began to play. From our limited vantage point, I could just make out Adrian standing at the altar. Mommy, I can't see, Oliver whispered. Without a word, Garrett stood and offered his chair to Oliver, swapping it with the boys. This one's a bit taller. Better view. The simple kindness made my throat tighten with unexpected emotion. Thank you, I whispered. As the wedding march began and Vanessa appeared on our father's arm, I felt a strange sense of déjà vu. For years ago, it had been me walking down the aisle, full of hope. Now I sat in the shadows, the divorced single mother they'd rather not acknowledge. The ceremony proceeded with picture-perfect precision. Vanessa and Adrian exchanged vows promising a lifetime of success and happiness together. They did it. Oliver clapped enthusiastically, earning a smile from Garrett and a tipsy cheer from Marjorie. As the newlyweds processed back down the aisle, I caught another glimpse of the life I once thought would be mine, the perfect wedding, the adoring husband, the proud parents. Are you all right? Garrett asked quietly, his eyes showing understanding. I nodded, blinking back tears. Yes, just weddings, you know? Indeed I do, he replied, his own gaze distant. They have a way of stirring up all sorts of feelings. Waiters appeared with trays of champagne and hors d'oeuvres, carefully avoiding our distant corner. I'm going to hunt down some of those little shrimp things, Marjorie announced, standing unsteadily. Want anything? A club soda for me and apple juice for Oliver if they have it? Consider it done, she said with a dramatic bow. As she weaved away, Garrett turned to me. Your son is very well behaved. Thank you, I replied, stroking Oliver's hair as he colored quietly. He's my whole world. Garrett nodded thoughtfully. Children often are. He seemed about to say more when his phone buzzed. Excuse me, I need to take this. As he stepped away, I found myself alone with Oliver, watching the celebration from our isolated corner. I wondered why I'd come at all. Would Vanessa have even noticed if I hadn't? A waiter approached, looking confused. You are the sister of the bride, he confirmed. Yes, I replied, used to the disbelief by now. Across the room, I could see my sister posing with our parents, their matching smiles dazzling under the photographer's lights. The perfect family portrait. Without me. The reception hall glittered with candlelight. From our distant corner, Oliver watched as platters of food paraded past privileged tables before finally reaching us. A tinkling glass signaled speeches. My stomach nodded, the part I'd been dreading. My father rose, champagne in hand. Today is a day of immense pride. Vanessa has always been destined for greatness. I shrank with each word. She has never failed to make the right choices in life. He glanced meaningfully my way. And now she's chosen a partner worthy of her brilliance. The message was clear, Vanessa had chosen correctly. I had not. Adrian, you are the son we always wished for. Marjorie snorted. Subtle. My mother stood next. As mothers, we dream about our daughters' futures. When Vanessa introduced us to Adrian, I knew she had fulfilled every dream we had for her. With good judgment, a woman can truly have everything. Unlike her sister, hung unspoken. Mommy. Oliver tugged my sleeve. Are they talking about us? My heart broke. Even at 3, he sensed it. No, sweetheart. They're just happy for Aunt Vanessa. Garrett caught my eye, his expression comforting. He whispered something that made Oliver giggle. Vanessa took the microphone, radiant in designer silk. I've been blessed with parents who taught me the importance of making smart decisions. I sipped my club soda, wishing it were stronger. Unlike some paths, she continued while glancing my way, I chose to build my career and find the right partner before starting a family. I'm grateful for parents who showed me the value of doing things in the proper order. Marjorie choked. Did she just? She did, I murmured, smiling frozen as eyes darted toward me. Oliver grew restless. His elbow knocked his juice glass, spilling across the white tablecloth. Rachel. My mother's voice sliced the air. Control your child. The room went silent. Oliver's lip trembled. It's just a small spill, I said quietly. This is exactly what I was worried about, my mother stage whispered. Children at formal functions are inappropriate. Oliver's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry, Mommy. It's okay, buddy. Accidents happen. Not in properly raised children, someone muttered nearby. I felt my face burn with humiliation. Oliver tried valiantly not to cry. Then a hand offered a clean handkerchief. Garrett. For the young man, he continued while producing a small toy car. Perhaps this will help pass the time? Oliver's eyes widened, tears forgotten. For me. Indeed. I always carry toys for emergencies. My son loved cars at your age. This simple kindness made my eyes sting. My mother watched with narrowed eyes. Anyone who expects perfect behavior from a 3-year-old at a formal event has clearly never spent time with children, Garrett remarked. Marjorie raised her glass. Some people need a reminder of what actually matters. Adrian took the microphone next, looking nervous. Family is everything. I'm gaining not just a wife, but becoming part of a new family. He paused. My father taught me that a person's measure isn't success or status, but how they treat others, especially in difficult moments. Vanessa shifted uncomfortably, touching his arm as if in warning. Later, my mother appeared. Rachel, Vanessa wants a family photo. Just immediate family. Oliver should stay here, then? Since he's not immediate family. Her expression flickered. The photographer wants a clean look. The implication stung. I can't leave him alone. I'd be happy to watch Oliver, Garrett offered, something authoritative in his manner making my mother pause. And you are, she asked. A friend of the groom's family. We've met several times. The lie was so effortless I almost believed it. I knelt beside Oliver. Mommy has to take a picture. Mr. Garrett will stay with you, okay? Okay. Mr. Garrett is nice. He clutched his toy car. Yes, he is, I agreed, feeling strange comfort in trusting this kind stranger over my own family. The family photo was a performance, my parents flanking the newlyweds, with me tucked to the side. Stand further back, Vanessa directed. Your dress disrupts the color palette. I complied, making myself literally less visible. A perfect metaphor. Afterward, Vanessa caught my arm. Thanks for not making a scene about Oliver. Children disrupt formal photography. I pulled away. He has a name, Vanessa. Your nephew has a name. Something flashed across her face, not guilt, but discomfort. Today is my day. I've worked for this perfect wedding. You've always been good at getting exactly what you want. Walking back, I saw Oliver giggling as Garrett showed him some card tricks. My heart swelled at my son's resilience, finding joy even surrounded by cold judgment. Mommy. Mr. Garrett's a magician. Oliver was delighted by what Garrett showed him. Children appreciate small wonders in ways adults forget, Garrett explained. I'd spent years seeking approval from people who would never truly see me, while ignoring the magic of being seen by others, even strangers at a wedding. The reception was in full swing. Oliver dozed against my arm, toy car clutched in his hand. Incoming, Marjorie muttered. Mean girls, 3 o'clock. Vanessa's bridesmaids approached, Brittany, Candace, and Taylor, designer dresses shimmering as they surrounded our table. Rachel. Brittany exclaimed with fake warmth. We've been looking everywhere for you. So, Taylor leaned in, single motherhood. Must be challenging. Oliver is the best thing in my life, I replied. Oh, how brave, she said. Raising a child alone, on a teacher's salary. Taylor positioned her phone, framing me and Oliver. Your ex isn't in the picture anymore? Candace leaned toward my waking son. Hey, sleepyhead. Do you miss your daddy? I bet you wish he was here instead of just mommy. Oliver blinked groggily. Mommy. I'm here, sweetheart, I assured him calmly even when my anger rose inside. Taylor showed something on her phone to the others. They giggled. Marjorie snatched the phone and showed me the screen. A group chat titled, V's Perfect Day, showed our family portrait with my mother's caption, the perfect family photo, despite having to include you-know-who. Below it, Taylor had posted her photo of us, today's charity case. Hashtag single mom saga, hashtag back row banishment. The air left my lungs. Mommy, why do these ladies look mean? Oliver asked. Actually, Taylor said, we're your Aunt Vanessa's best friends. Don't you want to know about your daddy? I could show you pictures of him with his new family. That's enough. I snapped. No wonder he left, Candace muttered. Oliver's lip trembled. Daddy has a new family? Is that why he doesn't want me? My heart shattered. This was a conversation for when he was older, not collateral damage in some cruel game. Marjorie stood, wobbly but fierce. What kind of soulless creatures hurt a child to amuse themselves? My mother arrived, face tight with anger. What is going on here? As the bridesmaids left, Taylor whispered, everyone knows you're only here because Vanessa felt obligated. No one wanted you. I clutched Oliver as he sobbed against my shoulder, whispering, "Does Daddy not want me?" "What did you do to upset Vanessa's friends?" my mother demanded. "They were mocking Oliver and posting cruel comments about him," I said in disbelief. "I told you bringing him was a mistake." "The mistake was thinking my family might show compassion," I replied, my voice shaking. Garrett returned, taking in the situation quickly. My mother noticed Oliver's tears. "Get him under control or take him outside. This is your sister's wedding, not a therapy session." Marjorie straightened. "You know what, Eleanor? I've always wondered how someone so elegant could be so ugly beneath the surface. You're drunk. Tomorrow I'll be sober, but you'll still value appearance over your own grandchild's tears." The wedding planner's voice interrupted. "The groom would like to make a special announcement." Adrian stood at the center with a microphone, looking serious. "Before we cut the cake, I'd like to invite my father to join me." To my shock, Garrett stood and walked toward the center. "Many of you know my father as Garrett Hamilton," Adrian continued, CEO of Hamilton International. The revelation stunned me. The billionaire whose face appeared on business magazines had been sitting beside me all evening, offering toys to my son. What my father values most isn't wealth or status, but character. And today, he wanted to see the true character of the family I'm marrying into. Vanessa's smile vanished, replaced by alarm. Today wasn't just a wedding. It was also a test. Oliver looked up. "Mommy, that's Mr. Garrett." "Yes, sweetheart," I replied, sensing something momentous. Garrett took the microphone, his eyes finding mine. "I believe it's time for me to explain." The room held its breath. Whatever came next would change everything. I could feel it in the charged atmosphere, in my mother's grip on her chair, in the panic spreading across Vanessa's face. Something was ending. And something else was beginning. Garrett stood transformed at the center of the room. Gone was the unassuming man from my table. His shoulders squared, presence commanding, eyes sharp. "For those who don't know me, I'm Garrett Hamilton," he began, sending whispers through the crowd. "Before tonight, most of you had never met me, though many know of my company." My mind reeled. I'd been sitting beside a billionaire CEO who had shown more kindness to my son in 3 hours than my family had in 3 years. When my son told me he was getting married, I was interested in the family he would be joining, Garrett continued. "As a widower who raised Adrian alone, family means everything to me." He paused. "So I proposed an experiment. Rather than attend as the father of the groom, I would come as an ordinary guest, someone no one would notice or feel the need to impress." My mother's face was drained of color. Vanessa stood frozen, her perfect smile gone. People reveal their true character not when they're trying to impress someone important, but in how they treat those they believe don't matter. The silence was absolute. "I observed many things tonight," Garrett continued. "How the seating chart was arranged. Who was valued and who was marginalized. The speeches that celebrated certain choices while condemning others. The small cruelties that were permitted." "Is Mr. Garrett angry?" Oliver whispered. "Not at you, sweetheart," I assured him. Garrett's eyes found mine, softening. "But I also witnessed extraordinary grace under pressure. Kindness where none was returned. And a mother's fierce love that refused to be diminished." My chest tightened. Rachel Foster was seated at the furthest table, introduced as just a single mother, and subjected to countless humiliations. Yet she remained dignified. She showed kindness to strangers, including me. And she protected her son with a fierceness I recognized, having been a single parent myself. Tears pricked my eyes. No one had ever defended me like this. Adrian stepped forward. When Dad suggested this, I thought it was excessive. But he asked me to trust him. He glanced at Vanessa. Now I understand why. Vanessa reached for his arm. "Adrian, this is a misunderstanding." He moved away from her touch. "Is it?" I saw the group chat, Vanessa. I saw what your friends posted about Rachel and Oliver, with your approval. Garrett addressed the guests. I built my company on a simple principle: character matters more than credentials. I apply that same standard to family. He pulled out his phone. I've kept notes throughout the evening. When a child accidentally spilled his drink, was he met with compassion or contempt? When someone appeared to have no status, were they still treated with basic dignity? My mother stepped forward. Mr. Hamilton, I assure you there's been a misunderstanding. Your family values were demonstrated quite clearly tonight, Garrett interrupted. No explanation needed. He turned to Vanessa. Vanessa, you're an accomplished young woman. But tonight you showed a willingness to participate in cruelty when you thought it socially advantageous. Rachel, Garrett called, would you join us, please? With Oliver, of course. Every eye tracked us as we walked forward. Garrett smiled at Oliver. Hello again, young man. Thank you for lending me your table. Oliver looked solemn. You showed me amazing tricks. I did indeed, Garrett chuckled, then turned to me. Rachel, I owe you an apology for the deception. But I don't regret having the chance to know you. I don't understand what's happening, I admitted. What's happening is that I'm making a business proposition, Garrett said. Hamilton International is launching an education initiative to support single parents and their children. We need someone with both professional experience in education and personal understanding of these challenges. I'd like to offer you the position of Director of Education Programs, he said. Full benefits, including childcare and a scholarship fund for Oliver. The room exploded in gasps. But, you don't even know my qualifications, I stammered. I know enough, Garrett replied. I know you hold a master's degree in education that you completed while working full-time and raising your son. I know you've developed innovative programs at your current school. And I know you have the personal integrity this position requires. Mr. Hamilton, my mother cut in, voice honey sweet, what a wonderful opportunity for Rachel. Our family has always supported her career aspirations. The lie hung in the air. Garrett merely raised an eyebrow. How fortunate that it's no longer necessary. Adrian apologized to me. I knew about my father's plan but not about how you would be treated tonight. I'm ashamed of how my future family behaved. Future family. The phrase hung in the air. Vanessa's perfect poise shattered. Adrian, please, can we discuss this privately? This is our wedding day. Yes, he said quietly. We have a lot to discuss. Later, in a quieter corner, Garrett handed me his business card. My direct line is on the back. Call me Monday if you'd like to discuss details. My parents approached, suddenly eager to reconnect. Rachel, darling, my mother began, voice dripping with affection, why didn't you tell us about your impressive career developments? Mr. Hamilton, we're so proud of Rachel. Mommy, Oliver whispered loudly, is the mean grandma trying to be nice now because the boss man likes us? Garrett suppressed laughter while my mother's face flushed crimson. Children, Garrett said, bending to meet Oliver at eye level, have a remarkable capacity for recognizing truth. And yes, young man, I do like you and your mother very much. Not because I'm a boss man, but because you're both extraordinary people. Oliver beamed. I like you too. Even though you were tricking everybody. As we prepared to leave, Marjorie appeared. I'd say that puts a rather decisive end to the who won the divorce question, doesn't it? A laugh escaped me, surprising in its freedom. I think we've ruined Vanessa's perfect wedding. Oh, darling, Marjorie said, her wedding was ruined the moment she decided to invite her sister and then treat her like an unwelcome charity case. The universe just caught up with her. Across the room, Vanessa and Adrian were in intense conversation. Her perfect day had unraveled, and for the first time in years, I felt no obligation to apologize for my existence. Oliver yawned against my shoulder. Mommy, can we go home now? Yes, sweetheart, we can. As we gathered our things from table 19, I realized I no longer felt shame about my place in the room. And somehow, at a wedding where I'd arrived feeling invisible, I was leaving having been truly seen. Morning light streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows of my new office. It was quiet. Calm. Not the kind of silence money buys, but the kind that comes from harmony. For the first time in a long while, I felt like I was exactly where I was meant to be. From the nearby childcare center, I could hear Oliver's laughter echo through the hallway. He had come alive in this new environment, drawing, telling stories, coming home each day with a glow of pride I hadn't seen in years. Surrounded by support, he was thriving. And so was I. I pulled my gaze away from the window and sat at my desk. My inbox was overflowing, meetings lined up back to back, documents waiting for my review. But it didn't feel like a burden. It felt like purpose. I picked up a framed photo from the edge of my desk. It was taken at last week's welcome event, just me and Oliver, mid-laughter, genuine and unguarded. No strained smiles, no pretending. Just us. Just joy. My mind drifted back to the wedding. The cold eyes. The whispered insults. The way they tried to make me feel small. And then I remembered Garrett's words, steady and unwavering. A mother's fierce love that refused to be diminished. A small smile touched my lips. There are still wounds to heal. Still work to do. But something inside me shifted that night. I'm no longer the woman hiding in the shadows, waiting to be noticed. I've been seen. And more importantly, I've finally seen myself. As I rose to head into my next meeting, I whispered to no one in particular. In the end, it wasn't status or appearances that mattered. It was the courage to truly see others, and to allow myself to be seen. And I walked forward. Not as someone's sister. Not as someone's daughter. Not as someone's ex-wife. But simply me. Finally, my real life had begun.